So we're here at Windsor on the final day of the Berkshire Winter Millions on what's been a really good weekend for our ambassador Nicky Henderson, of course, who had success with Jonbon in the Clarence House Chase and also a real impressive juvenile, Lulamba. Nicky, first of all, how are both those horses after yesterday's races?
Good, Brett. Sorry. Thanks. Really good. Jonbon was fresh, and like I said, he was just fresh throughout the race, actually. Lulamba, great. He's just a gorgeous horse. Nothing worries him at all. He just did it all with his ears pricked and came home and was very bright and perky this morning. So, yeah.
I know you were sort of quite keen to just try and dampen the enthusiasm a little bit about Lulamba, but did he do what you sort of in the back of your mind hoped he might?
You hoped. I thought it was even better than that. It was a crazy performance. I mean, I do know that Gary Moore's horse, which really, where I was being the negative really, was that you couldn't see how he was going to give £10 to a horse that's rated 111 on the flat. That was an impossibility. It meant that he nearly actually got to he'd got to be a Derby winner on his own right. Yeah. He's had one run over hurdles before in his life. So I know Gary's horse he was just too gassy and probably didn't help himself. So that did help us, but still giving it £10 was a pretty good performance. And just the way he did it, it was all so clean and professional, and it's just very straightforward.
And of course, it carries the colours of Joe Donnelly, who owns Sir Gino. Of course, Sir Gino was supposed to run in last year's Triumph, but sadly, as we all know, couldn't make it. I assume this horse will be heading for that race on the final day of the festival.
Well, that would be part of the plan at the moment. I mean, there are a lot of water to go under the bridge, as we learned last year. And this time last year, it looked easy, and then we never even got there. So, that's probably the idea, I would think, yes.
And when I've spoken to you in the blogs beforehand, you've always said he's quite a big gross horse, almost if he was sort of born over here, he would have still be in the field.
Well, he definitely would be, yeah. Nobody had thought about training him. He's lovely. He really is a gorgeous horse.
So I know it's a bit of a cliche, but would you say anything he does over hurdles is actually a bonus, because chasing will ultimately be his goal?
Well, it's funny how we've gone chasing with Sir Gino for pretty obvious reasons, I think. But I don't say that's now what Lulamba's going to follow in his steps. We've got to get through this season. There's no doubt he'll jump fences, but it's quite rare to send these 4-year-olds chasing. So, I mean, interestingly, JP has with the horse that won the Triumph Hurdle last year. He stopped his chasing as well. I expect he's going to appear in the Dublin or the Willie Mullins Racing Festival next week. So, I mean, he's got a very bright future, I hope. You want to look after him at the same time.
Well, it's interesting you say the Willie Mullins Racing Festival. I mean, it could be the Nicky Henderson show at Cheltenham, because you are potentially going in there with some very, very strong chances. Obviously, Jonbon is one of them. Clocked up a 9th Grade 1 success in the Clarence House. I mean, Nico, what a brilliant ride Nico gave. And they seem to be like a match made in heaven, those two, don't they?
They do get on very well. They're both characters, but Jonbon's character is stranger than most horses in a funny way. Now we've got to know him so well, life is a lot easier than it used to be, and I think he's simmered down quite a bit as well. But he was just up for that yesterday, and I mean, I didn't, I was thinking there'd be a bit of cat and mouse over the first two or three fences, while Nico and Paul just sorted out who was going to do what and who was going to make it, because they're both sort of natural front runners, if you like. But I mean, there was no question of anything else. Nico that's where he was going to go, and then Jonbon just took the bit and said, that is it, we're off.
And nobody likes to sort of compare all these good horses, but let's not compare them. But you've got to put him now in the bracket of the Sprinter Sacras and the Hours. He's as good as they were, isn't he?
Well, he is. I mean, he's still got hope he's been doing this for a fair...
Still quite lightly raced, actually.
He is quite lightly raced. He has his 5 runs every year, and 4 of them are Grade 1s. It's great what he's done. It's funny, as a lot of people say, he hasn't sort of caught the toe. Sprinter was, he was everybody's sort of superstar, and so was Altior. He was 19 out of 19. That's a world record. So, good old Jonbon. He comes out there and gets the job done in the most amazing fashions. I mean, he is extraordinary.
Could be a big day for you on Saturday at Cheltenham. Of course, Constitution Hill in action in the Unibet Hurdle. How much are you looking forward to getting him out again?
Well, possibly after the Christmas hurdle, I was rather hoping I wouldn't have to get him out again. But to be fair, we said we'd monitor him for a fortnight. And actually, it was perfectly obvious after a week or 10 days anyway that he'd come out of that really well. He'd looked great. He was bouncy in himself. The boys were all happy with him. And, I'm thinking, gosh, we're going to have to do this. And not have to. Michael was keen. And, I sat a bit longer until the other day and said, well, come on, we're going to go. We'd better tell them what we're going to do. I took everybody back. I think they thought, bloody Henderson, you won't run him again. Of course we will. If the horse is there and ready to run, we'll run them. That's what we want to do. So that is the plan. The Unibet Hurdle, it's a grade 2, so he's got a penalty to give away. But it'll be interesting to see what comes. And as I say, he seems in very good form. The race is there. It's very good prize money, and it probably saves us galloping him from now until March. So, no, here we come, Unibet Hurdle.
And he's a horse who sort of quite quickly he seems to have captured the public's imagination. He's a superstar already, isn't he? Everyone seems to really have latched onto him quite early in his career, really.
I suppose some of those, like his Supreme Novice Hurdle, that was so ridiculous that everybody's eyes opened and said, blimey, what is this? Yeah. And I think quite rightly so, and he's continued to do the same the whole way through. And when a horse is that, just finds it all so easy, doesn't he? He's got the brain to do this. His head's fantastic, and he's got pace. They go as fast as you like, and his jumping is worth watching.
All being well, obviously he'll run and win the Unibet Hurdle, then followed by another go at the Unibet Champion Hurdle. What is it about the Unibet Champion Hurdle for you that makes it such a special race and such a prestigious contest?
I think
you've got a great record.
Well, we have, and it goes back to our first ever winners at Cheltenham. We'll see you then when you won 3 Champion Hurdles, and so it's always been a bit special, and you've just been very lucky. They've kept turning up, and I don't know. We seem to have more. We've had a couple of Gold Cup winners, so we get stayers as well. We can't win a Grand National for in China, but we do seem to have speedy horses more than real stayers. But those you can't. If they're 2 milers, they're 2 milers. You can't make them into 2 milers, and you can't make 2 milers stay 3 miles. Nobody can do that.